Thanks everybody for joining us today for our virtual public meeting. Let's dive right in. Today we're going to be talking about the Packard Rd Resurfacing project that we have planned this construction season. So let's get to our brief agenda here. We're going to go over some housekeeping, and then I will introduce the project managers, and then I will turn it over to them to talk about what we have planned for this project. And then we will open it up to Q&A after that, and I'll provide instructions as to how to do that virtually here once we get to that part. So our presenters today, we have two of our project managers. We've got Michelle Ford. She is the primary project manager for this one. We've got her contact information here. You do not have to furiously write it down. We'll share a couple times throughout the slides, and I'll also show you where you can find it on our project webpage on our website. So we've got Michelle here today. We also have Aaron, and he is our senior project manager that oversees our design and construction department. And you can find his contact information here as well. Michelle will be your primary contact throughout the work that we have on Packard Road. Just a few housekeeping items. So right now the meeting audio and video is being recorded. We'll have that recording posted to wcroads.org. I'll show you exactly where as we get towards the end of the presentation. That'll be posted within the next day or two to our website. We'll ask you if you want to ask a question during Q&A. We will ask you to virtually raise your hand. And like I said, I'll provide instructions as to how to do that during that Q&A period. And lastly, we do have chat enabled for this meeting. So if you would prefer to ask a question in chat, feel free to do that throughout the presentation. And then I will read out any questions that come in through chat aloud, and we'll answer those during the Q&A period. So with that, I will hand it over to Michelle to talk about the project.
All right, thank you, Emily, and thank you for those who are attending. So we're talking about Packard Road, and we're going to be doing some resurfacing. So Emily, if you go on, we'll get started and where we're talking about. So it's in a very busy part of all of Packard Road is busy, but this is especially busy. It's right at Carpenter Road between US-23 and Carpenter. That's right on the edge of the city of Ann Arbor, going eastward to Carpenter Road. And that's where the red line is. Next. So the existing condition, the road is in pretty tough shape. These are some pictures that I took recently, and you see that the pavement is really stressed. It has a lot of cracks. It's to kind of the point of no repair. There are also the right-hand slide there shows that there's a lot of patching. There is a water main out there that belongs to Pittsfield Township that has been a problem child for several years now, and has had multiple breaks, and they've had to come in and do patching. There's some asphalt, there's some concrete, it's undermined the road. It's just kind of a mess. So that's kind of what the road's looking like. Next, Emily, we'll see the curb is also in pretty rough shape. Most of the curb that's just along the roadway portion isn't too bad, but where we're crossing driveways, the curb has really deteriorated. It has just gotten worse even over this past winter. So much of the curb along these driveways, we are going to replace since we're going to be out there with the road as well. Next slide. So to tell you the scope of the project, we're going to do a complete pavement removal, including the base. Sometimes when we have these public meetings, you hear us say that we're going to mill and overlay, or maybe sometimes we're going to do a pulverization, which keeps some of the existing pavement out there. In this case, things are in such bad condition that we've decided that we're completely taking all the pavement out, all those patches and the base material, replace the curb as needed, as you saw in some of those slides. We won't replace it all, just in those places that need it. And then we're going to put back 10 inches of aggregate base. It'll be a limestone, crushed limestone base, and then 6 inches of asphalt. And that'll be done in three 2-inch lifts. So we'll have 3 layers of asphalt to make it good and strong for the amount of traffic that we have. And then of course, we'll put the pavement markings back. So Emily. So that's 16 inches of 10 inches of aggregate and 6 inches of asphalt. That's a 16-inch drop. That is full pavement removal. We have had trouble in the last several years, especially with people trying to drive through our closed work zones. I'm just warning you right now, this picture here was from a previous project. That's only about a 9-inch drop. And you can see it's fairly significant. 16 inches, you're going to do some damage to your car and you're probably not going to get it back out. So we are advising, do not try to drive this through. Please follow our posted detour, which we'll discuss in a little bit. So just want to give you a visual of, yeah, we're talking about real pavement removal. Next. So I just have a few slides here of previous projects just to give you a visualization of the kinds of things we're going to be doing. So when we do the curb replacement, we have to form them up, typically with some wood like this as part of the form. This is one that's shown along the driveway. That'll be similar to the things that you'll see. If you happen to notice in this picture, I thought of it just now, you'll see the sidewalk off on the right. Our plan is right now that our sidewalk will remain open throughout our road work. It is possible that there will be times during the project that we may have to close off portions of it, but overall that sidewalk is far enough off the roadway that it should be able to remain open. Next. So then we're going to put down aggregate base, and that'll be 10 inches of base. That's pretty thick. They have to compact that down, and they'll use different types of machinery to get the compaction that we need. And you can see here in this project, this happened to be a concrete road, but it shows a pretty good representation of what the aggregate base will look like after it goes down. And then we'll bring in the pavers. Like I said, we're going to do 3 2-inch layers of asphalt. So on the left-hand side, this is the Cadillac asphalt machine, which they happen to be our contractor on this job as well. We work with them often. On the right-hand side, the reason I chose this picture is because if you see the 2 strips that are there, the kind of shiny looking strips, we also put down something, we refer to it as VRAM. It's void reducing asphalt membrane. And it's just a spray that helps to seal the joint between the asphalt. If you're driving down the road and you often see that joint between lanes deteriorates fairly quickly. And that's because there is an opportunity for water and things to get in there. And this VRAM that we put down, we have found seals up that joint nicely and helps to preserve the road even longer. So it's just kind of a nice picture to show you something that we do. That'll go on before that final layer of asphalt. Emily? And then the pavement markings go down. And the plan right now is to keep the lane configuration that is currently out there. So you aren't going to really see any changes to the roadway once it's completed. So we'll have them just put back the pavement markings as they currently are. Next. So I wanted to mention that I talked about that problem child water main. So we have been coordinating with Pittsfield Township, and everyone agreed that this is a great opportunity for them to go in there and replace, they're going to fully replace that water main so that we don't have them coming in and ripping up our brand new asphalt because of a break. So what we're going to do is we're working with them on the timing. When they're ready, we're going to have our contractor go in, take out all the pavement, and then Pittsfield Township contractor will come in and they will replace that water main. Once that is done, we will then come in and put in that aggregate base and the asphalt. So we've worked very closely with them to get all the timing worked out and to have the contractors are in contact with each other, because we only wanted the public to be inconvenienced one time. And like I said, I would be very sad if my brand new asphalt got torn up right after we put it in. Next. We usually go over costs of things. So our estimated cost on this project is about $500,000. And, you know, just to give you an idea of the cost of road construction nowadays, this is about 610 feet of roadway. With a full reconstruction, that's $500,000 for, you know, 600 feet of roadway. And that is our work only. That does not include the water main, since we're not paying for that portion. That's part of Pittsfield Township. And so I just wanted to give you an idea of the cost of things. And that's going to be paid for through federal funds and through the Road Commission's allocation of Michigan transportation funds. And it's approximately an 80-20 split. So 80% federal funds and 20% Road Commission funds. And so now the important information, how long is this thing going to be closed? Unfortunately, it's going to be a fairly long closure. And a lot of that is due to that water main replacement. It takes a long time, not only for them to get that water main in the ground, but there's a lot of testing and things that have to go along with that. And it's going to push our closure to probably about 8 weeks. We anticipate that starting in early July, probably pretty soon after the 4th of July. And it's going to be closed from Burton Road to Carpenter Road. And I've got some maps showing you exactly where that's going to be to, not everyone knows where Burton Road is. So I have a map. And as always, that is dependent on weather, supply chain issues, unexpected conflicts, the contractor scheduling, all those things. But, this is our expectation about an 8-week closure. So to give you a visual, the closure limits here, to the west, Burton Road, it's a small road just west of US-23. And it'll go up to Carpenter Road. We're not going through the Carpenter Road intersection. Next. With that in mind, the limits of the work are actually a little bit farther to the east. There's no other driveways or anything between Burton and this western limit of work. And so that gives our contractor a little bit of staging area and some space to put things. Because as you can imagine, with 600 feet of road and there's curb and gutter on either side, they need somewhere to store materials and such. So there is one business within this closure, AT&T, I have it marked there on the map, that will be provided access within the project boundaries. Everything else has an alternate access point. You can come from Carpenter Road or one of the back side roads that access Carpenter. So those will be closed off. There will be no access to, for instance, you want to go to White Castle and you want to go through the drive-thru, you're going to have to come off of Carpenter Road. Same with everything else, the Speedway, the vacuum store, all the others. They do have access through Carpenter Road. So I apologize for that. It's going to be a painful one, but AT&T is the only one that they're going to be able to have access through the contractor. Next. So our posted detour is pretty simple. It's just basically going around Packard to Platte Road to Ellsworth to Carpenter or vice versa. So we have it going south. That's the easiest thing for us. We're working with the city of Ann Arbor to make sure that we're in compliance with all of their requirements, because some of the signs and such are in the city of Ann Arbor jurisdiction. So they're fully aware of it and we're working with them on that. So this is reiterating. Okay, it says the road's closed. Yes, that does mean you. Like I said, there's going to be a 16-inch drop off. Please obey the closures. We have had just way too much issue with people not obeying, and it's unsafe for the drivers of the vehicles and also for our workers. We had decided to do a full closure of this road because it is such a short distance. It's very difficult to maintain traffic and have the workers be safe at the same time. There just isn't anywhere for them to work. So we need to make it closed. And also it's a lot more efficient. We can get it done more quickly if we close the road. If we had, had to maintain partial traffic, it would have prolonged it, 2 to 3 times and still would have caused a traffic nightmare. And at the same time, our workers would not have been as safe. And there have been multiple road work zone fatalities in the last several years. And, our main goal is to keep our people safe, as well as to get the work done in a efficient manner for you. All right, so this shows some of the road commission projects that are in the area. And Emily is going to go over some of this, how you can find out some of these things. So our project is the little tiny blue line up there on Packard Road, kind of in the northwest quadrant of this particular picture. I will tell you, these are only road commission projects. There are a couple other projects that I know of in the area that, since they're not ours, I don't have exact timing on them. The city of Ann Arbor is doing some work on Platte Road north of Packard. Our posted detour has you going south of Packard. So, you know, if you stay on our detour, you won't have interference with that. I don't know the timing of that. I also know that there is a utility project that's going to be going on at the intersection of Packard Road and Gulfside. That's to the east of our project. We're hoping that that gets done before this one begins, but since, you know, we're not the contractors for that, we're at the mercy of the utility. They're going to try to get it done, but there could be some overlap with that. Hopefully there won't be, but just want to make everyone aware. So I think, Emily, is that it for my portion? Oh, no, I've got more to go. So I wanted to make everybody aware that the ride, the transit bus organization, they do have a line. Their line 5 runs straight down Packard. And so there is a bus stop on the north side and there's another one on the south side, and those will be closed. And so we have coordinated with the ride. We work with them, make sure that there's notification, and then they will decide how they're going to handle that. So if you are a rider of that particular line, go to their website, theride.org, and you can, I believe you can sign up for alerts and things like that and find out how they're going to handle that. We just make them aware of the situation, tell them when, the length of the closure, such as that, and then they decide how to route around that. Okay, and Emily will go over this some more with you, but you can sign up to get project updates. So for instance, when we, you know, are getting ready to close the road, we'll give you a heads up on that. We can give you some updates on the progress so that you'll know, you know, what's being done and when, and then let you know too when things will be reopened. My contact information is there. Feel free to email me or call. If I'm not available right then, I will get back to you as soon as possible.
Thanks, Michelle. And Michelle, I think that you may have mentioned this, but I think we should reiterate. Right now, we're hoping to start this in early July is our tentative time frame, and that's going to depend on all the things that you just said about weather and all those things, but that's our tentative date. Yeah, I'm definitely going to show where the group can follow and get some more information on our website. Before I do that, Aaron, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
Just a couple of things, and thank you, Emily and Michelle, for such a great presentation. A good overview of this upcoming road investment for this season. Certainly much needed. Michelle, those were great pictures that you shared depicting the existing conditions. Certainly, I appreciate the good coordination between our agency here at the Road Commission and the staff at Pittsfield Township, so that we can coordinate our investments. The investment by Pittsfield Township to improve this water main, and the investment by the Road Commission through federal funding investment to improve the road. But a couple other things I'll mention. Prior to us beginning the work, we will have portable changeable message signs on the job site. So those are the electronic message boards that are often used. And so motorists that are passing through that zone during their daily commutes, they're going to see those portable changeable message signs on site, I'd say at least a week prior to us closing the road. So again, we're coordinating that closure with Pittsfield Township and with their water main contractor. So it's the most efficient time to close the road, to begin our removal of the old road, and for them to begin their water main work. So again, the electronic message boards will be on site ahead of the road closure. Michelle stressed the fact that this is a road closure, a full closure, and that we cannot have motorists entering the work zone. In addition to motorists, I'll also mention bicyclists and pedestrians. We've had issues in the past and more so in the recent past, not only with motorists entering closures, but pedestrians and bicyclists. And it can be very dangerous. We're using heavy equipment. We are placing materials like asphalt that can be dangerous due to their temperature. Asphalt typically is around 300 degrees, so it can be very dangerous for bicyclists and for pedestrians to be around hot asphalt. So again, we really have to stress the fact that individuals need to be respectful of the closure, both to protect their well-being and to protect the well-being of the construction workers that are relying on their thoughtfulness. There are a variety of factors that can unexpectedly influence construction schedules. And we have an established relationship with the MDOT prime contractor on this job, Cadillac Asphalt. And our impression is Pittsfield Township has a good established relationship with their contractor for the water main work. But there are situations that arise that are beyond our control. Things like weather. We can't control the weather. Despite our best efforts to identify utilities on a job site, there can be occasion where unexpected utilities are identified during the project work. And that can certainly cause an influence on a project schedule. If there is an underground fiber optic line, for instance, that was not identified to us by that utility owner, we cannot simply rip that fiber optic line out of the ground and continue our work. That has to be addressed, and that can take time to do that. So we have put forth our best effort to identify the utilities on the job site, but ultimately it is up to those utility owners to inform us that their utility exists on our job site. So again, one other thing that would influence, and I'll say more recently, in these pandemic times, are supply chain issues. And again, despite careful planning by the road commission and by our contractor partners, there's been a great influence on supply chain and making sure that materials arrive on a job site in a timely fashion. So that's something that we continue to work on, but it can have an influence on project schedule. So that's just a few things. I'll also mention we will be making some changes to the signal at Packard and Carpenter Road to accommodate this closure. So most notably, what motorists are going to notice is as they're northbound on Carpenter Road, approaching the intersection at Packard, that left lane is going to be closed because there won't be any left turn allowed there. So we'll be closing that lane. We'll certainly be making changes for traffic on Packard Road coming westbound towards the intersection at Carpenter. There's going to be a lot of bagging of signals to cover up certain signal heads and signs to clearly convey to motorists that they cannot continue through. So a few additional notes, but appreciate everyone taking the time to attend this meeting today or to view this meeting later on in its recorded format.
Thanks, Aaron. Michelle, did you want to add something? Go ahead.
I just wanted to add one thing. I had mentioned that we were going to do our best to keep the sidewalks open as much as possible during the road work portion, but I do want to add the caveat that Pittsfield Township may find that during their water main work, they may have to close a portion of the sidewalk, especially on the north side of the road. That sidewalk is very close to the curb, and that water main is in the farthest northbound lane, and it's fairly deep. They're going to have to dig a pretty good hole, and they may decide that it's not safe to keep that sidewalk open on that north side. So I just wanted to mention that, as Aaron was mentioning about pedestrians, staying out of the work zone. If we close those sidewalks, there should be some pedestrian barricades and some signs notifying you that the sidewalk is closed ahead.
Thanks, Michelle. Yeah, I think that's important to add. We'll try to note that on the road advisories that we send out ahead of construction and the updates that we send out during construction, but I think that that's a very good thing to note. So with that, I'm going to just pause the slides here for a second, and I'm going to do a quick demonstration just to show you how you can find out more information and find the information that we've talked about today. So our website for the Washtenaw County Road Commission is wcroads.org. Shameless plug, there's a lot of great information on there, not just about our projects that we have planned, but today I'll show you where you can find this project and more information. So again, our homepage is wcroads.org. If you go under this roadwork and construction tab, you can find our current projects map there. You can also just keep scrolling down and you can find our current projects map under this interactive map. And so that'll take you to a overview of all of our major projects for the year. You have to zoom in a little bit since this is such a small section of Packard Road, an important but small section. And you can see each of these blue segments that are on the map each have their own project associated. So we're going to click on this Packard Rd Resurfacing. You can click for more information, and then it'll take you to the project page. So we've got some information here. We'll continue to update this as we get closer to the project. We've got the announcement for today's meeting here. This is where we'll post project updates as we go throughout the project, as we get closer to closure and throughout the closure. We've got Michelle's contact information here. We have a link to the Detour map. We'll add a link here to the recording of today's meeting and also to the slides that we shared today, so you can have those as reference. We also here have a button where you can subscribe to receive these updates via email. So if you click that, it'll take you to our subscription page. And another shameless plug, we do a lot of different road advisories and road updates. If you're interested, you can subscribe to receive updates based on the township that you're interested in, whether that's just Pittsfield Township or other townships that you travel in. You can subscribe to as many as you want. We have different types of emails that we offer. So we do advisories on closures, lane restrictions, etc. We do a newsletter every so often. We have a weekly roadwork schedule that goes out every Thursday. We have alerts on weight restrictions, bridge closures, bid invitations, that kind of thing. You can sign up for any of those types of emails. And then we also do these project updates. So you could subscribe to receive updates from about Packard Road, just about Packard Road. And we try to do those throughout the closure just to give you an idea of the different stages that you're seeing and what kind of progress that we're making. So again, that's all right on our website, wcroads.org. There's a ton of information on here. We're updating the entire site almost daily with different road updates and different project updates. So I really encourage you to check it out if you ever have any questions. We also have a really robust FAQ section if you're ever curious about different work that we do or do not do as a road commission. So with that, let me go back to the slides. So again, I just kind of went over that. We really would encourage you to look up, check out the project updates. I'm going to add a link in the chat right now to the project page. So you'll have that in the chat to that page that I just was showing you. And so now we can go into our Q&A period. So for this, there's two ways that you can ask a question. I've already got a couple questions in chat, which is great. So you can always ask a question in chat. And then if you want to ask a verbal question, you can do that by virtually raising your hand. Look for the reactions or the participants button at the bottom of your screen or even at the top of your screen since I'm screen sharing. And then you should see a raise hand part of that reactions. If you dialed in from your touch tone phone, you should be able to dial *9 now, and that will raise your hand virtually. So we can start with the chat questions that we have. The first one that we have, Michelle, is from Gloria, and she had asked about there's a couple businesses and schools on, is it Burton? I think I have the Detour on the next one. So on, is it Burton Road right here, that just to the west of our project limits? So the properties that are like located in this area, just south of Packard on that part on the west side of US-23, there'll still be access to that. That's not impacted by the closure, right?
That's correct. The closure is actually going to be east of Burton, between where Burton is and US-23. There's really not any other driveways. So Burton will be open. They'll be able to do it. They'll just have to come from the east side. They won't be able to come westbound on Packard to get there. They'll have to come around the other way, but they'll have the road will be completely open. Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you for clarifying that. We have another chat question from Sarah, and she said, oh, she was asking about subscribing. So her question is about the email updates. No, Sarah. So if you want to add Packard Road to your subscription, you should be able to do that. If you have any problems, if you want to shoot me your email, I can go in from the back end and I can add you to it. If you want to do that, that might be easier. So if you just want to send me your email address in the chat, I can go ahead and make sure that you're subscribed to receive Packard updates as well as the other updates that you signed up for. So that was her question there. Okay. Let's see. So again, if you want to raise your hand, you can do it this way. I don't see any raised hands at this point. And Sarah, if you want to send me your email, I can make sure you're added. Yep, there we go. Got it. Okay. I will do that for you when we finish this meeting. Are there any other questions out there? We have kind of a small group today, so there might not be any. Okay. Aaron or Michelle, would you guys like to add anything? We'll let everybody go enjoy this nice day. Keep this short and sweet today.
No, just thank you so much for participating today, and do not hesitate to reach out if you have any questions before the project starts or actually during the project. And I will certainly get back to you as quickly as I can. So thank you.
Thank you, Emily. All set.
Okay, great. Yeah, and as Michelle said, we'll put additional signage out there ahead of the closure to give you a heads up that this is coming. And we'll also do road advisories on our website and via email. So we know this will be painful. We know that this will be a headache for many of you, and we will try to get in and out as quickly as we can and provide you with new water main and a fresh new road to work on. So we appreciate everybody's patience and thank you for coming today.